Hello and welcome to the very first episode of our new show, Win the League with Carling. This is the show that will be governed by your questions on social media, so get involved. With me today is my mate Joe from the Football Daily. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate, good. Looking forward to it.
Good, good. And, I'm not going to say more importantly, but it is ex-England international Tony Cottee. Tony, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Ed. Really good.
Let's crack on. Right, before we get into your questions, we have got some unbelievable prizes courtesy of our mates at Carling. All you have to do is buy a promotional pack of Carling and scan the can using the Carling Tap app. There are some amazing prizes, including, Tony, you can win the Premier League trophy in your living room. How good's that?
Well, I was normally fighting relegation, so the Premier League trophy never got anywhere near it, so that sounds good to me.
It's the perfect competition for you.
Absolutely.
Right, on to the questions, let's do it. First question is from Niall McCrossan7 on Soccer Snapchat. Thank you, Niall, for your question. He wants to know who will get more goals in all competitions this season, Lacazette, Lukaku, or Morata, and why? And before we start, Joe, I'll come to you first.
Yeah.
A bit of a stat for you. League goals over the past 5 seasons. Lacazette,
Yes.
way out in the lead at 94. Lukaku, 85 goals.
Yeah.
Morata, way down with 40 goals. Obviously, we all know Morata played a lot less games.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have played a lot less games because of the quality of player he's had in the teams around him. You look at who he was fighting with for a position last season, Ronaldo, Karim Benzema. He scored 4 more goals in 500 less minutes than Karim Benzema last season. So to answer the question, Lukaku will score more goals in his first season. But I think in terms of longer-term options, Morata's got a far higher ceiling than Romelu Lukaku does.
You're a United fan.
Yeah.
Obviously, United and Chelsea were linked with both. It was quite
Yeah.
a bit of a merry-go-round, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
who would you have rather had?
I would have definitely rather had Morata.
Ooh.
Proven Champions League goalscorer, got 2 in the semi-finals in 2015 for Juventus. I think that's something that Lukaku is not a long way from doing, but still got a little bit more career progression before he hits that stage of being a Champions League semi-final goalscorer.
Okay, so Morata is the man for Joe. Tony?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Lukaku. I think he'll score the most goals overall. And it's purely based on the fact that he knows how the league works. He's an established Premier League player, done really well for Everton. I mean, there was faults in his game in terms of his hold-up play, being part of the team. But as a goal scorer, I think he ticks the boxes. He's the right signing for United. They needed to replace Zlatan. So I think he will score the most goals. I'm not arguing with Joe about Morata in terms of being a top player. Yeah. But we have seen players come over from abroad, particularly from Europe, who haven't settled and score loads of goals in Spain or whatever, and can't score goals in the Premier League. So we'll have to wait and see how he settles in. And the one who should score a load of goals is Lacazette, with the Arsenal midfield, playing behind him. So I think it's going to be fascinating. But for me, Lukaku will score the most this season, because he knows how to do it.
Right, next question comes from Nick McLeod, 23, also on Soccer Snapchat. He says, if your club could sign one player that isn't Messi or Ronaldo, luckily, the question otherwise everyone would just say Messi or Ronaldo, who would it be and why? Now, I'm going to start this by saying, a lot of people say young players, because obviously there's a premium on young players. Interestingly, Dele Alli has recently been identified as the most valuable under-21 player in world football by this year's SoccerX under-21 report.
Typical Tottenham
by Prime Time Sport. This isn't an opinion, this is a report that utilises Football Value Index, which looks at the player's age, position, club, contract length, market value perception, minutes per goals, injuries, the lot, and he is valued above the likes of Ousmane Dembele, Kylian Mbappe, you name it, at €82.6 million. So, the stats say Dele Alli.
Yeah, but the question doesn't say. The question doesn't say under 21
What do you say, Joe?
I'm going to go for Neymar, fairly obviously. Obviously linked with a massive move to PSG, £222 million buyout clause. Whether or not they pay it or not remains to be seen. Probably he'll end up with a new contract and playing at Nou Camp next season. But the guy's a phenomenon. For me, every single club in the world would be improved by Neymar. So therefore, Neymar has to win this question.
Neymar, Tony, for you?
I think Neymar, yeah. I'm just sitting here thinking, it's a bit like the tennis situation where you've got 3 or 4 real, all-time greats playing tennis at the moment, and we've got Ronaldo and Messi, and perhaps are we going to appreciate Neymar because he's that third choice at the moment? He's pushing to get there. He's pushing to get there, isn't he? But without a doubt, Neymar is the third best in the world at the moment, and he's a fantastic player, and there's more to come.
Kylian Mbappe, though, is another player. For me, Kylian Mbappe is someone that could break the world transfer record. He's wanted by every club. I saw him first-hand in the Champions League when he played in Spurs' group, and he was unbelievable. They've offered him something like a 90% pay rise to keep him. Yeah. He's rated below Dele Alli in the study, interestingly, but he is wanted by everyone. I mean, he's going to be world-class. Yeah,
he's going to be world-class, I think, is the key. I think he needs potentially 1 to 2 more years at Monaco. I think he'll get 1, then he'll be bought. You look at Neymar, 25, Mbappe, 18, he's 7 years younger. The level he's at the moment is quite frankly ridiculous. So if he keeps scoring for another year, I think consistency is the key, and then he'll leave.
If you're Mbappe, Tony, would you stay at Monaco? Or would you chase that move to Real Madrid?
No, I think he should stay there for 1, maybe 2 more seasons. I know they've let a few players go, haven't they? Well, I think he should develop as a player. He's only a young kid, and you'd be surprised how much you're learning, especially as a teenager. There's still so much to learn. Positional sense, awareness, what you can do for the team. He's got to do that consistently, but what a wonderful talent.
Obviously you're a striker, you played at the top level, scored hundreds of goals. You'll tell me exactly how many goals you scored.
306.
Because you still keep a scrapbook, don't you, with every single goal that you've ever scored?
I've told you this before, I don't keep the scrapbook, I don't every week
do it.
Where is
it with you? You brought it with you?
I've been retired for 16 years, so it's not with me and it's not working at the moment. But no, I mean, I did keep a record of the goals.
So you scored that amount of goals. Do you think a lot of young players now, there's something to be said that they can ruin their development, if you like, if they do chase that dream move where they might not start?
Yeah,
a bigger club.
Well, it can, and there's so much that comes into play when you move to the different clubs. But you know, we don't know what his personal circumstances is, whether he's giving it large when he goes out, or I don't know. You just don't know how the kid is. Does he want to go to London or Madrid or whatever, you know, to have a good time? You know, my advice to him would be to stay at Monaco, keep your head down for at least 1 more season, and then the big clubs will come to you. You don't need to go to the big clubs. The
next question is from Joe C. Jones, 98. Tony, you will like this one because he says, "Hi, West Ham fan here." So straight away.
Same as me.
Exactly that. Will Chicharito struggle to be able to perform without a world-class team behind him, like he had at Man United, or will he thrive being the main man? Chicharito, obviously West Ham looks set to set the release clause from Bayer Leverkusen. Mexico's all-time leading goal scorer, great minutes per goal ratio for United, Real Madrid. What do you think of that, Tony? Will he be a success at West Ham?
Well, listen, first and foremost, he's not going to be playing in an all-conquering Manchester United team as they were at the time when he was there. In terms of West Ham, I think they've made some excellent signings so far. I think they're going to be stronger. Oh. What's the matter, Joe? You don't like that one?
No.
No?
I mean...
What, signing England's #1, signing the established right-back who played for Argentina?
I mean,
personally, I think West Ham's recruitment since 2010 has been abysmal. I think all over the pitch has been terrible. I think Joe Hart is England's #1 on paper, but I think that's indicative of how poor England are. I think he had a horrendous season at Torino. I read a few reports. I think Arnautovic at £25 million stinks of Andre Ayew, was an appalling signing last season. His output's nowhere near a £25 million
I'm agreeing so far. I'm agreeing so far.
The question is Chicharito then.
Get back to Chicharito.
Back to Chicharito. I made a point about Chicharito.
I think Chicharito at £16 million isn't horrendous, but it shows a wider problem at West Ham with their recruitment. 31 strikers they've signed since 2010. 20 of them have scored 3 goals or less. Now, I think Hernandez will score more than 3 goals. He'll score more than 3 goals for him. He'll be okay. Don't get me wrong, a good player at 16 million. But
Joe's one of these guys who says that Chicharito, all he does is score goals. I mean, it's a massive problem to have, and all he does is score goals. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, 39 in 76, I think he got for Leverkusen.
Yeah, 26 in the first season.
And Manchester United, he scored goals. Will he be able to play that role up front on his own? There would be a question mark for me, without a doubt.
Yeah.
If you were to play him alongside Andy Carroll in a formation that works, maybe 3 at the back with 2 up front. You know, would West Ham fans like to see Carroll and Hernandez up front? You bet they would. Yeah. And they would both score goals. So, like anything, and any smaller type of striker, you have to have the service. If he gets the service, he will score goals for West Ham.
You like him, don't you?
I think he's a fantastic finisher. I would argue that, I think we probably, all 3 of us would agree that there's probably a top 7 in the Premier League. Yeah. And West Ham are looking to get to 9th, 8th, and if they have a good season and one of the top teams drops out, you get to 7th, that can get in Europa League. I think their signings are good, positive signings, and they've got a good chance as anyone of getting in 7th position, West Ham.
But did you know, this is even better, the last West Ham striker to score 20 or more league goals in the top flight was this man here, Tony Cottee.
1987, long time ago.
Yeah, that's like how many years ago? 30 years ago, isn't it?
It's getting a bit personal now, isn't it? So that is a great question. Teddy Sheringham did it in the league below, but the last person in the top flight.
I know, that was me.
So very good question,
That tells you everything you need to know about West Ham.
Right, next question. This one comes from Soccerham's Instagram. It's from Ben Miller, 2001. To the point, Millsy is, which Premier League team have done the best business and why? Now, there's 2 ways of looking at this. You can look at the players they recruited or the value for money. Joe, who's done the best business for you?
I think Manchester City have done the best business. I think in terms of value for money, not necessarily, but they don't care about money. I think in terms of the best signings, I think they have. they've overpaid for nearly everyone, but Man City don't care.
They always do. They always do.
But they don't care. If you look at the players they've let go, Zabaleta, Sanya, Clichy, Kolarov, these ageing players, all 30 and up. You look at the players they brought in, Walker 27, Danilo 26, Benjamin Mendy, who will have signed by the time this goes out, 23, Bernardo Silva 22. They are recruiting a really good young profile player. Average age of ins is 24, average age of outs is 32. It's an 8-year difference. Pep knows exactly what he's doing. Get him out.
You don't agree, Tony?
Well, they've signed 3 fullbacks for £100 million, so I'm not quite sure how that's sort of good business, to be quite honest with you. And, and whether they're going to have a bearing on them going forward for this season. But what you would argue, I suppose, is the goalkeeper situation, and obviously the son of the goalie, and defensively they was awful last year, Man City. Going forward, they've got all the talent in the world. Yeah. So if they were to shore up the back 3, 4, 5, whatever they're playing, then you could argue that it is money well spent. But I would, 100 million on fullback.
It's a lot of money, isn't it?
It is a lot of money without a doubt. I personally would go for Everton. I think Pickford's a fantastic signing in goal. Keane as a centre half, and then you bring Rooney in. And Rooney, not only will you bring in a player that's still only 31 and is still a very good player, he will bring everything that you would want as an Evertonian back to that football club and give the whole club a boost.
Yeah, right. We're also celebrating 25 years of the Premier League. So talking about signings, in your experience, Tony, who's the greatest ever signing in Premier League history?
Well, I think there's so many players that come into my faults, but I played in the 1990s in the Premier League, and I think the one guy that made a massive difference to a whole football club was Eric Cantona. They bought him from Leeds for about £1 million, and you look at what he did. Let's not forget Manchester United hadn't won the league for 25 years or whatever it was, and he came into that football club and he helped Sir Alex Ferguson and all the other great players that were there to make the club into what it is now. And he was a wonderful, wonderful player. I played against him many times, and sometimes you're in the tunnel, you look at him, and he just done that, lifted his collar up, and you thought, oh dear, we're in trouble today. We are in trouble. But he was a phenomenal player, and he wasn't at the club that long, but he laid the foundations for everything that Manchester United achieved under Sir Alex. And
yourself?
Just because of my era, I wasn't so much Cantona's era. I would go Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he had a massive impact on Manchester United. Obviously won a Champions League, multiple Premier Leagues while he was there. And just in terms of a business point of view, in terms of turning a huge profit, bought for around 12 million, sold for 80, I think. At that time, that was a huge fee. Like, you look at it now and you think, oh, it's not too bad. At the time, that was monstrous, £80 million from Real Madrid. I think Ronaldo was one of the best in Man United's history. I think he's the best, probably the best player in the Premier League's history, pretty close. So I think I'll have to go Cristiano Ronaldo from my era anyway.
And United fans still chant his name now, don't they?
100%.
Idolised.
I think he was a fantastic player. I would just add that without Cantona and what Manchester United achieved, Ronaldo probably wouldn't have signed for him. So that's just
good point. On that note, I'm not even going to say what I think.
Go on, you say.
Do you know what, even as a Spurs fan, you've got to chuck Thierry Henry in the mix, haven't you?
Oh, Thierry, one of the greatest ever.
You've got to be honest, you've got to chuck Thierry Henry.
But let's not forget the Zolas and the Bergkamps, it's been 25 years.
I remember when Spurs signed Klinsmann at the time,
Klinsmann,
huge signing, because there weren't that many players of his ilk coming over to the Premier League. No. There's so many, we're fortunate to be were you born when Klinsmann was playing?
Yes.
You were? Okay, right, there we go. So many great players. Let us know in the comment section who you think is the greatest ever Premier League signing. Tony Cottee as well. Right, lads, that's all we've got time for, unfortunately.
I've enjoyed it. It's been great.
Yeah, Joe, enjoy it?
My heart's breaking.
I never know when he's being sarcastic or not. Thanks to Tony and to Joe for joining us. Don't forget, get yourself a Carling and scan it using the Carling Tap app. So many great prizes to be won, including the Premier League trophy in your own living room. That's it. As I said, we'll be back next week with another Premier League legend. Don't forget, sending your questions in the comment section below. See you later.